Good morning and welcome to Whenever You Are. I am Bandit Haze, and today I'm going to be talking about the whole GameStop fiasco, the whole circular life thing where GameStop corporates are apparently forcing some skullduggery tactics on their employees, as they're forcing their employees to push forward these pre-owned titles because that's where the most money is. But it means in turn that the customers aren't necessarily getting the best deals. It means that people feel they're forced to lie into their customers about what's available to them. So yeah, not a very good situation right now in GameStop. I want to talk about this in a perspective of what can be done about it, because I've worked in a few different places, a few different industries, including retail, mostly sales. I've done sales and customer services, but I've worked at levels where I've been the guy calling the shots, and I've worked at levels where I've been the guy who everybody shits on practically. And I've had jobs where I've been paid a lot of money. I've had jobs where I've been paid probably less than minimum wage. So you know, I've been at various levels in the working spectrum. So I want to give my perspective on what can be done about that. By the way, if I sound a bit different, it's because I have a little bit of a cold, or the onset of a cold. So I've been eating oranges and things. Hopefully that will go away soon. And I've been drinking some water as well. Apparently water contains estrogen in it, so if I start wearing skirts and dresses in my next video, well, that's why. But yeah, that's what's going on there. But anyway, before I do that, me have to let you know wagwan. For people who are new to this channel, or maybe just watching this video for the first time, this is the weekly video where I talk about the channel a little bit, talk about myself a little bit, talk about what's going on in the world of video games and movies and related stuff. And I do these vlog style videos every week. I also do a edited gameplay videos each Monday, and I do a scripted video each Saturday. And the scripted videos are usually me explaining something, where I take a topic and explain it in the only way I know how, which usually means I'm just trying to be funny. And well, whether I succeed in that or not, you guys can let me know. Also do a couple of live streams each week, but I'm thinking that I might cut it down to just one a week, because I want to focus more on the writing stuff, and I feel like I maybe need to cut down one of the live streams. So I might just start doing that once a week. I haven't decided yet. No decisions being made just yet. I'm thinking that's something I'm thinking of for now, to cut it down to just one a week. Also, what's been happening? So I watched some of those movies that I was showed. Was it last week? I watched a couple of those. I watched Black Swan. You get that in shots of Black Swan. I've heard this is like a really good movie. Loads of people say like, oh, it's amazing. It's an amazing film. It didn't impress me that much, actually. I mean, it wasn't terrible. Certainly, it's not a rubbish movie, but I didn't feel that it was that impressive. Maybe my expectations were a little bit too high, because I kept hearing how good it is. Maybe my expectations were too high and I just didn't quite meet it. But it's okay. It had a few cool moments. Ambiguity was, I mean, I felt like it tried too hard to push the ambiguity. But anyway, it's yeah. And I also watched Laid in America, KSI and Casper, and I would say this film was actually better than I thought it would be. That being said, my expectations were very low with this movie. I wasn't expecting this to be anything at all. But KSI had a few cool lines in it, a few funny lines. Casper had a few funny lines. I would say the standout character though was, I don't know if you can see him there, but this guy here, Bobby Lee. For me, he was easily the standout character in the whole thing. But overall, it just felt a blip. I mean, it was not a great film, certainly. I'm not trying. Don't get it twisted. It's not a good movie. It was just a little bit better than I thought it would be. But yeah, low expectations. I would say that if you are interested in buying this movie, like if you like interested in supporting YouTubers doing cool things, and even though it's not a great movie, it's still a cool thing what they did. If you're interested in that sort of thing, maybe wait till it's like dirt cheap or something, and then pick up on sale or something like that. Maybe not full price, but anyway. But yeah, that I believe is me so far. So let me talk a little bit about the next giveaway, which I plan on doing next week. So the last giveaway I did was Battlefield 1. So when I do giveaways, me go big star, me go big. That being said, this next one maybe not as big as Battlefield 1, so yeah, don't want to get you too excited, but still it's a pretty popular game. This next one, it's a pretty popular game. So the first, I gave a couple of clues before. I'm gonna give one last clue for now, and then next week is when I intend on unveiling it and doing the giveaway then. So the first clue I gave was darkness. The second clue I gave was choices, and then today's clue, this week's clue, is not needed right now. So darkness, choices, and not needed right now. Those are the clues. But yeah, next week is when I intend on unveiling that one and doing the giveaway then. Anyway, so yeah, that's all that. So let's talk about this whole GameStop thing, so a circular life thing. Now, for those who don't know, real quick, circular life, as I've understood it, is an initiative by GameStop to sell more of the pre-owned stuff, because that's where most of the money is. If they're for the brand new games and brand new consoles, the profit margin at GameStop take is quite small, because the publishers or the developers, you know, they take the lion's share of that. Whereas with the pre-owned stuff, because they pay you like 20p for, you know, like 5 games or something, and then sell it for, I don't know, like $50 each or whatever, their profit margin on the games is quite high. I said 20p, I probably said 20 cents, but you get what I'm trying to say. They give you like some low price for the game, and then they sell it for near enough to a full price. Like, so one example was that they were selling Watch Dogs 2 pre-owned for $55, and brand new you can get it for 30. So go figure, right? So it makes sense that they'd want to focus on that. It makes sense that's where they want their employees to focus on, because that's where their money is. No issue there. But the problem, of course, comes when there's so much of a focus on it. They're targeting their employees with selling, you know, X number of pre-owned games or subscriptions, and if they don't meet that target, then they can get fired. Yeah, not nice. If you've been at anything similar like that, you know it's not nice. So that's news in a very basic nutshell. And so yeah, the news is that it's supposed to be something from corporate. Now, I did read an article on what was it called, Forbes, where they said that it actually might not be a corporate-wide thing. Apparently they've if you look through the, well, I did actually look through the Kotaku comments as well. But there are also the people they spoke to on in the Forbes article. They were saying that they spoke to other people who say something different. In the Kotaku article, there's also people in the comments that are saying something different. So it may not be a corporate-wide thing as was initially reported, as some people were talking about. It might be just limited to certain stores with bad managers. But I want to talk about this from different levels and what I feel you can do about it at the different levels. So if it is a corporate-wide thing, if this is something from the very, very top of GameStop, where they're saying this is how it's going to be, then in terms of what you can do about it as a low-level shop floor employee, bottom line is there's not really a whole lot you can do about it. Certainly nothing easy. In fact, all the options I'm going to go through, pretty much none of them are that easy, really. But in terms of what you can do, there are a few things, or things you can try, I should say, rather. One of them is to speak directly to corporate. And yeah, I know they're probably not going to listen to you. I get it. But it's something you could try. You could also, if possible, try to get people together, try to round up some people and go to the corporate and say, look, this is what's happening and we're not happy about it. This is why we're not happy about it. This is what's causing us to do, and try that way. Again, even if you get a whole bunch of people, it's unlikely it would change, because corporate tend to be, I should say, very stubborn with their approach to certain things. So it's something you could try, but you know, it could try. So there's that. If you are going to try and get people, try to go with people who can count on those. You know, some people are like, oh yeah, I'm down, and when it comes to it, they're like, oh man, man, you know what I mean? Start making excuses. So if you're going to round up a bunch of people you can rely on. Another thing you can try is become somebody in corporate, you know, work your way up to that level and make the changes from there, make the change from the inside, you know, do that sort of thing. That being said, that's not going to be something that's going to appeal to everybody. You know, if you're somebody who is looking to be some kind of upper management guy anyway, then sure, that's something you could consider, right? Because it's the type of direction you might want to go in anyway. But for the type of guy who's just getting a job because they're just trying to get through school so they could do other things, and there's other dreams they have, other aspirations in life that they want to have, that's a massive deviation from your plan. So it may not be something that you'd want to consider, because to go through that route is a lot of work. It'll take a lot of time. A lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and if that's something that you don't necessarily want for yourself in life, then that's a lot of time wasted doing something. So that's an option for people who might want to go in that path anyway, but for everybody else, I couldn't recommend that. Which leads me to sorry, phone's going off. Which leads me to the third option, which is to leave. And I know that's, again, it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to suggest, but it's either that or be miserable. In my opinion, my humble, honest opinion, I don't think anything in this world is worth you being miserable for. nothing is worth you going against your morals for. Nothing is worth you, abandoning your dignity for in this world. People talking about having to lie to people and feeling miserable about that, feeling bad about that. I personally believe nothing is worth going through that for. So that's an option. But again, look, I'm not trying to judge. I'm not trying to say this is a suggestions. People in different situations. You might have kids to feed or something to consider. You might have people who depend on you, whatever, things like that. It's not an easy choice. I know that. But my belief is that, you know what, if it's making you that miserable, then there are other jobs you can get. There are other jobs you can get. I know people say, "There's no jobs." There's always another job you can get. Listen, I've met homeless people who've gotten jobs. You can get another job, okay? It can be done. But again, difficult choice, I know. All right, so if this is something that is just a store level thing, so let's say you got a manager that's just crap at his job, somebody who it's not coming down from corporate, it's just your manager doesn't understand things and they're not giving you the right information, they're lying to you about stuff, they're not giving you proper training, they're just completely shit at their job. Now, if it's that sort of thing, then don't be afraid to go above their head. If it's your manager and that's just crap at their job, that's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, don't be afraid to go above their head. Don't be afraid to say, I want to speak to the district manager. I want to speak to, corporate. Don't be afraid to go above their head, because people like that, managers like that make a good situation bad and make a bad situation worse. It's always going to be much difficult, much more stressful to be in an environment where you have a bad manager, because they make everything worse. So don't be afraid to go above their head, because you're going to think of your own happiness. If you're just trying to get through this, you're trying to do this job so you could just do other stuff. You don't want to be all pissed off when you go to work. You don't want to be coming to work and it's not about, I love my job so much or whatever. I mean, that's whatever. But just in terms of just being able to go to work and not be pissed off by the end of the day, not feeling like you want to get hit by a bus on the way to work because everything's just so miserable there. Don't be afraid to go above somebody's head. Put your own happiness first and go above their head if you have to. And again, if you can get people to back you up, that's even better. If you have to go alone, that could be done too. But yeah, don't be afraid to do it. And if you are going to do it though, make notes. Make sure, and another thing, make sure you are in the right, by the way. If you're talking to your manager and you get a feeling that they're not doing their job properly, make notes. Write everything down. Write down what they said, write down what you said, write down what they did, write down what you did, and make sure that what you're saying and what you're doing is always in the right. If your boss is like, oh yeah, go lie to that customer, or go I'm gonna fire you because you're not selling enough pre-owned stuff, and then your response is screw you asshole, then yeah, that's not gonna work in your favor. And say it, don't spray it. But so make sure you are in the right, make sure you are saying the right things, doing the right things always, and make notes, write everything down, and don't be afraid to go above their head. Don't be afraid to say, you know what, it's time for me to speak to the district manager, time for me, and if they're not helping, time for me to speak to corporate, but yeah, don't be afraid to do that. And the last thing I want to say is, if it is not from corporate, if it is not your manager, their corporate's fine, your manager's fine. If it's just you are not very good at your job, then that's something that you got to be honest to yourself about. You got to be able to look at yourself and say, actually, I'm the arsehole here. I'm the one that's not doing my job properly. I'm the one that's lying. I'm the one that's I'm not being forced to lie to customers. I'm just doing it because I don't know how to sell properly. You know what I mean? If it's a case of that, then again, be honest with yourself. There's no shame in admitting that you're wrong, or no shame in admitting that you don't know something, and no shame in admitting that you need help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask your manager. Say to them, look, I'm having trouble selling these things. I'm having trouble with whatever it is, and they should be able to get you the help. A good manager will get you the help. Again, if they're a bad manager, note that down. But you need to make sure you're in the right. Make sure you're doing what's expected of you as well. So yeah, if it is down to you, if it is you're just a pissed off employee because you're not very good, be honest with yourself. Don't be afraid to ask for help. But those are the things that I think can be done. Like I said, none of them are particularly easy choices. They're all going to involve some level of difficulty, some more than others, depending on your exact situation that you're in. But ultimately, it's going to come down to your position as, this is what I need to do because this is what's expected of me, and because this is expected of me, then I need to get better at it so that I won't get fired. Or actually, I'm doing what's expected of me. This is the managerial thing. I need to go above that, or this is a corporate thing, and I need to take it further if indeed you believe it is worth the efforts and the energies and everything else that goes along with going that far up the food chain, because it ain't easy. It ain't easy. Well, nothing in this world is really. But there you go. If you have any tips yourself, if you've been in similar situations, or if you work at GameStop and you know sort of more directly what's going on there, or if you've worked anywhere else, we've had something similar going on, whether you've been the manager, whether you've been the corporate guy, whether you've been the shop floor, dog's body, everybody shits on guy as well. I've been all these positions, well, maybe not all, but certainly a good few of them. But yeah, whatever situation you've been in, whatever advice you can give, maybe drop a few comments and, you know, let people know Wagwan. And that is what I think of the whole Circle of Life fiasco. Villagers, what do you think? GameStop or GameStop? Let me know down below, and if you liked this video, give it a like and share it amongst your friends. If you did not like it, then give it a dislike and share it amongst your enemies. Either way, let me know your reasons in the comments. Subscribe if you have not already. Thank you for watching, and until whenever, if ever, always be closing. Always be closing. The biggest gaming news I could find, at least the most interesting gaming news I could find, was to do with Nintendo. Let me just find it again real quick. So yeah, you know, Nintendo Switch, they're gonna have an online service where they charge for it. Now, initially I thought it was gonna be $60 because that's the price that I saw, but apparently that wasn't the actual officially announced price. That was just maybe somebody's estimate. They have announced the